Hey guys, today I wanted to show you the longest game, my game of 2026. It was 80 moves long. It was a very difficult fight against a 2250 rated player, whereas I am 2030 for now. And yes, we started with the English and he played bishop to b4, which I didn't really think he's gonna play. So I came up with I'm not as good at opening preparation. I just play how I feel. And I thought that queen to c2 might be a good idea to just play a3 and force an exchange of the knight for the bishop. But the only problem is that he's got very good development. C takes d, knight takes d5. And now I guess that after queen to c2 everything would be okay. I would play queen to c2, bishop to e6, pawn to b3, and we are alright. But I came up with this weird idea, queen to c5, to force queen exchange. And my thinking was, I have the pair of bishops, so I might get the advantage long term in the endgame. However, when you think about it, the position is gonna get one-sided. The game is gonna get one-sided, so the knights are gonna be better. The pawn structure is gonna be blocked, and he's got super quick development. He just needs bishop e6 and rook to c8. He's ready to attack me here. And that was the problem. I shouldn't have played queen to c5, I think. Okay, pawn to b4. I need to play pawn to b4 because if he goes knight to a5, knight to b3 and blocks me here, it's the end of the game. Knight to f3, I gotta bring my knight out. Bishop to b2. I was also thinking to bring the knight like this. Knight to e2, rook to c8, knight to c3, but then I thought, okay, I might just break my pawn structure, I'm not sure. But actually this was a lot better in my opinion. And the reason for it, he goes knight to e7 and blocks me like super badly. I'm not sure if that was better, but at least like I would be passive, but I wouldn't be losing. But here, my knight is not doing anything. It's just restricted by the pawns. Rook to c1. I play bishop to e2 to simply castle. I wanna connect the rooks. I don't care about the king safety. I care about rooks being connected. He goes a5, so now he tries to break my pawn structure and fix it. So it's blocked, so his knights are a lot better. I play b5, knight to a7. I had some of the lines calculated, like that, this, and maybe rook to b1, but then king to c7, protecting the knight. Let's say rook to b5, and I don't remember what I had here. But he can even go knight to a4 in this position. And he's doing absolutely alright. Rook to b1, then even rook to b8, and I'm just a pawn down. And again, look how one-sided the game is. There's nothing going on the other side. So my goal for the game from that point on was to open up the position so my bishop increases in value. Knight takes c4, d takes e, here rook f2 d1. I'm using his king being on the open to to put my rook into the game. I want to put my knight into the game now. I'm looking for maybe e4 and knight to c5 with bishop to b4, or just looking at d6. Let's see what's gonna happen. But he decides to go knight to c4, knight takes b5. Of course, we had many variations like knight to b4, which I had prepared. Bishop to b4, knight to b5. I don't remember exactly. I had prepared knight to e4, knight takes b5, bishop to b4, pawn to b6. And I'm 2 pawns down. I don't see how I'm gonna win this. I'm gonna survive this, to be honest. Oopsie. I didn't prepare for this video very well. Sorry, guys. That was stupid from me. I should have gone over this game a little bit. Alright, rook to c2. I simply want to put pressure on the c file. And I just want to make it annoying for him. Kick his knights out. He cannot really take here because takes, and even rook to a1, and I feel like I might survive this. But I think that this was actually his best try, because otherwise I managed to stabilize the position and not and allow myself not to defend but to counterattack. And here, even though he's got control over the c file, even though he's got a good knight restricting many of my pieces, I have a counterattack, which is the d file. So he goes f5, I take, king takes f5, and I just try to be as annoying as possible, right? Maybe I wanna look for rook to d4, maybe. I just wanna pin him, maybe f4. I gotta do something. Also, there was a threat of knight to b2 in the fork, so in this position, I'm not looking to create any pawn breaks. I'm not looking to, let's say, attack him. I'm just waiting for him and trying to, whatever he does, if he wants to control the c file, I'm going to control the d file. If he goes for my king, I will try to go for his king, for example. If he wants to enter with his rooks, I'm gonna enter as well, and we're just gonna take, and end up in a draw, maybe. So rook to d4, the pawn is forked. You're always, I know, at least. I was like scared. Am I sure about that move? But yeah, I think it was alright. Rook takes c4. I didn't see any other option. Rook to d2, rook to c2. I thought that this was the best, because it allowed me to play rook to d7 and control the 7th rank, to annoy his king and do all that crazy stuff. Rook to c6, h4, knight b2, and bishop to d2. And you know what, guys? He had a chance to blunder. He had a chance to blunder, I think. He could have played rook to c2, which I would play rook to d6 against. And now, I think king f5 might save him, but if he goes knight to c4, I go f3 here and e4, checkmate out of all of a sudden. So let's see if king f5 saves him. Wait, I gotta go, let's say I go f3, which looks scary, to be honest. He needs to defend via e4, and I think he's surviving, and his ends up a little bit better, but I don't have to take. I can even just move back and chill. Okay, so maybe there was no blunder, but okay, he moved back, king to f5, king to g3, king to e6. You see, guys, I scared him. I created some checkmate threats. I made him doubt himself, and he went back with the king, and the computer says there were many inaccuracies. Maybe he should have just stayed with the king on e4. Now that I'm looking at the game, knight to c4, bishop to b4. I mean, this is the best square for the bishop, protecting and looking at e7, restricting the black's pieces as well. Knight to d6, it's a blunder. 5 minutes ago, I mean, before I started the video, I was thinking about this position. Why is it a blunder? But I just cannot see it. I just cannot see the blunder. So I played f3, knight to b5, and now I was thinking that he might have actually blundered, because I thought, okay, rook to e7, king to f6, and f4. And how does he defend from the checkmate? And now I see that he had simple rook to e6, which I didn't see, I guess. Oh my gosh. It's such a shame, guys. Like, I don't see this simple stuff. Like, I didn't see rook to e6. I thought I'm actually gonna almost win, because I thought the he can save himself via rook to c3. I need to take, he goes here, and then we end up in this weird endgame. But he's just gonna be faster. You see, guys, I make simple calculation mistakes. I forgot that the rook can come to e6. Alright, knight to d6. So now I'm actually threatening checkmate. Rook to e7, king f6, f takes c. All of a sudden, I'm creating checkmate threats rather than my opponent. The knight goes into the corner. Rook to g8. The rook was almost trapped. Happily, it's okay. I'm super lucky that the bishop is actually protecting the third rank square exactly on the c file. So yeah, my king can stay safe. Rook to c1, but now he wants to change it. So I go f takes e, knight to e5, king to e2, which is an inaccuracy, but I thought that after king to e3 he had rook to e1. And king to f4 cannot be played because knight to d3. And king to d4 just seems weird, he can even go here. So I actually thought king to e2 is the best solution to the problem. And here I go king to d2 and bishop to c3. And at this point I was quite confident. I wasn't super confident, but I was like, okay, this position might actually end up in a draw. I was thinking rook to f8, but here he has king to e7, and the game might, yeah, okay, never mind. This would be a stupid idea, guys. So I just went and took it. Rook takes g6, rook to e4, and we have two endgames to choose. We can play down a pawn that I saw before I took on e5 for the first time. Rook to h4 and then rook to a4. I think it's a draw. Unless he wants to come up with this king like this. Oh, he cannot come up with the king like this. What am I even saying? He cannot enter the 4th rank because I'm gonna take on a4. So what can, I mean, he cannot move his rook to the other rank because he's gonna lose the pawn. If he moves the rook from the h file, I'm gonna win the pawn. So it's a very difficult position, but I think I will manage to draw this for sure. Yeah, it might have actually been a simpler draw from what I had, because I played rook to here, king to c2, king to b1. He can never play king to b3 for now because I'm gonna take on b5, rook to h6, rook h5, and here I got scared because I saw something I didn't see before, a takes b and king to b3. Oh my gosh, if I had played king to a1, I would have lost the game. I was so kind of lucky because I mean, I played king to b1 because it just seems better, right? Here I'm not putting my king into the corner, but I didn't see that before, that he can hide behind my pawn. And here the only draw, I think, is rook to c5. But it still looks super bad, to be honest. I guess rook to h4, b5. I mean, it doesn't look bad. However, I think it was his best try, to be honest. Yeah, so this is something I didn't see. It would be super sad to, you know, play a game for 5 hours and then just blunder like this. So I guess the other endgame was just simpler, because my rook stayed more active. But alright, king to a2. Now I just need to defend and keep checking if he moves his king. And that's what I do. And here his king is gonna end up trapped. And also, I think I'm not that good at endgames. I haven't practiced them so much. But I think that even the position without the pawn, this position even without the pawn is gonna be a draw. Rook to h2, king to c2, rook h3. But remember, guys, these are rook endgames. Anything can happen. And here the computer says it was a blunder. Maybe rook to b6 was the solution, to be honest. Now without calculation, I think rook to b6 might have been winning. So it's super crazy that I mean, rook endgames, guys. They are just so difficult. Rook to b6, and what can I do? He's gonna go king to b2 and a2. I'm dead. Alright, king to b2. And now he ended up blundering? That's not a blunder. Or maybe that's a miss. I mean, don't tell me he's losing this position. There's no way he can lose this position. No, so maybe he needed to play something different. But what? I cannot say exactly. Rook to h3, rook here, and then if he protects, hides, I go here. Maybe rook to b5, king to a1, rook to b6, a2. But then I go king to c2 and I trap him. I think that's the end. I'm not sure, but one thing I know is that I'm gonna spend a lot of time looking at this endgame later after the tournament, because yeah, I gotta like, I want to feel confident in endgames. I think they are the most important. I think like in the middle game you can always survive without getting checkmated, and you can even go to a worse endgame, and then in the end game everything is decided. Rook to b6, king to c2, rook to a6. I mean, here I just cut the simple pattern, which is checking him. If he moves away, I'm gonna attack the pawn, and yeah, we just moved like this, back and forth. Rook to h6. Also, we need to be careful before he played a3. So here, if he took and somehow, let's say he didn't have a checkmate, and my king was on e3, and his king wasn't on c3, I mean, he would have won the pawn, the rook. But luckily, after he takes, I can take the pawn with a check here. So, wait, why did the pawn disappear? Did you see this, guys? There was no pawn for some reason. Okay, rook to b6, king to b1, rook b6, and then he offers me a draw. 87 moves, longest game I have played this year. Thank you for watching, guys. Right now, live, I am 2100 rated FIDE. Maybe 2200 one day. See ya, guys, and yeah, next round in like 5 hours. Bye.